everyone, welcome to Must Read Monday. My name is Dabney. I'm the young adult librarian with the Twin Lakes Libraries, and I use they, them pronouns. So real quick, I just wanted to show y'all my outfit for today. At the library, we've been having themed days this month, so, today we're going to dress as this, tomorrow we'll dress as that. Today is our literary theme day, so my literary reference is from my favorite book series, the Raven Cycle, also the Dreamer trilogy. So I just wanted y'all to see that, because I'm like, it's always a good time to talk about the Raven Cycle and how much I love it. So I'm staying warm. It got cold, so I hope y'all are staying warm as well and having a good break from school. Just a reminder, you can come by the library and check out some books. And right now I'm going to go through some of the new books we've got that I've read. So very excited. We're going to do the graphic novels and manga first and then get into the books. So first off, this is, okay, I'm pretty sure Himawari House. Pronunciation isn't great. This is actually a graphic novel, and I love it. This is like one of my favorite books now. So it's about these three international students who have come to live in Tokyo, and they're all living in this house together. And it's, about kind of like their experiences, sort of as being like an outsider in Japan. It's about them like learning the language and trying to figure out, like their identity and like what they want from life and like who they are. And so yeah, I liked it because each of these girls, is from a different country. So this girl is from Singapore, this girl's from Korea, and this girl was actually born in Japan, so she has a Japanese mom and like a white American father. So even though she was born in Japan, her family went to America when she was little, and so she grew up there. So she kind of has never felt like she really fit in where she was in America, and now she's back in Japan thinking like, oh, back in my homeland, and everyone she meets is like, oh, you're American, and she's like, no. So just a lot of interesting things going on in the story and a lot to think about and consider. Also, it's just, pretty emotional. There's like lots of humor, but then there's also lots of, things that each of the characters is going through while they're there. It never really gets too heavy or anything like that. And you've also got living in their house, these two, I can't remember if they're brothers or cousins now, and I feel bad. I'm pretty sure they're brothers, living in the house with them. So it's really, really good, and I love the art, and yeah, I just, if you're going to pick up a graphic novel to read, I recommend getting this one. Alright, so then we have some, oh wait, here's another graphic novel, Fly by Night. This one wasn't my favorite ever, but you know what, you might like it. It's kind of got a missing persons mystery. Our main character, Dee, her sister has gone missing, and so she and her dad come back to town to try to help with that. But in the meantime, she gets wrapped up in this, movement within the community. Like, there's a group that wants to build a pipeline in the Pine Woods. This is in New Jersey, and, the community is against this. They want to protect this land and protect the woods from the developers. And so she gets involved in this movement and kind of unearths a larger, conspiracy involving cryptids, the Mothmen. Oh my gosh, not the Mothmen, sorry, the Jersey Devil. Yeah, anyways. can tell I'm not like a cryptid expert. But so if that like sounds appealing to you, you should definitely check it out. And then another graphic novel. This isn't like new as in publication, but it's new to our collection. This is Surviving the City Volume 2, From the Roots Up. So I talked about the first volume in my talk about books by Native American and Indigenous authors. So this is kind of following up. You've got some characters from Volume 1 as well as some new characters. And this one kind of revolves around sort of like the like gender identity, gender presentation, gender roles, as well as like two-spirit people within Indigenous communities. So I thought it was really like interesting and really good. So I've been enjoying this series. By the way, these are set in Canada, so it's a little bit different, but very short, like very small. Alright, let's get on with our manga. So I read pretty much almost every single manga series that we have. So I always pick up the new ones when they come in. We've got Citrus Plus Volume 3. Admittedly, I kind of had a hard time following along with what was happening, but this one revolves around two of the side characters more than our main characters. Then Noragami, Volume 23. I always really look forward to the new Noragami volumes. I think there's usually only 2 a year, so they're always worth the wait. And the art is just incredible, and I always feel like it's just amazing and keeps getting better. And the story, I'm just such a big fan of the series and of the anime, and so I just feel like the story just continues to get more intricate. And this one was actually pretty sad, but just because of what it gets into, but always really good. So I would say definitely check this one out if you're into manga involving like the supernatural, because you've got basically the main character Hiyori. She gets involved with like all of these gods and kind of gets brought into their world, and the story just continues to build and get better and better. So, okay, books. All right. So we'll start with Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. So this one, I don't think we have the print copy in yet, so I listened to it on Hoopla. This is book 2. The first one was, I'm pretty sure These Violent Delights. These Violent Delights was the first one. And this is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. So I don't want to get into reading the summary just in case you haven't read the first volume, and I don't want to spoil things for you, but let me just say the second one was so good. It was just amazing. In this duology, you've got, it's set in 1927 in Shanghai, and there's these two rival gang families. So there's Juliet, and her family is the Scarlet Gang, and then Roma, his family is the White Flowers. So the Scarlet Gang are Chinese, the White Flowers are Russian, and their families have been kind of at war forever. They have this blood feud going on, very Romeo and Juliet, of course. And before the first book starts, backstory, you find out that like Roma and Juliet had actually met and like fallen in love, and it was kind of like a doomed relationship. Things happened, they ended up breaking up, and now they're enemies. And in the story, Juliet had gone off to America, and now she's back in the city, confronting Roma again, but like besides their animosity, there's also this monster that is like attacking people, and it's really gruesome actually. So that's going on, and they end up having to like team up to figure out what's happening. You've got some really great side characters in there, who I love all of them. And what else? And then yeah, like book 2, not really a spoiler, but it gets into more of like the political climate of the time, with the communists and the nationalists. So I love it. It's just a very well written, like the books are pretty big, but it's very fast paced, very engaging. It'll get you in the feels. And I think there's like an older video, if you go back through the Must Read Mondays, that Abby talked about the first book. She's a big fan of that. So, okay, moving on. One of my highly anticipated reads for a while now is The Nobleman's Guide to Scandal and Shipwrecks by Mackenzie Lee. I'm a really big fan of this series. This is book 3 of the Montague siblings. So if you haven't read those, the first one is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. So it's following Monty. He's like the eldest son of this family. And then the second book is The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, which is about Felicity. So she's Monty's younger brother. And when the first book happens, their baby brother has just been born, and he is the main character of this. So now he's like 18, 19, whatever, and his name is Adrian. So I'll just read you this little summary. Adrian Montague has a bright future. The sole heir to his father's estate, he is an up-and-coming political writer and engaged to an activist who challenges and inspires him. But most young lords aren't battling the debilitating anxiety Adrian secretly lives with, or the growing fear that it might consume him in all he hopes to accomplish. In the wake of his mother's unexpected death, Adrian is also concerned people will find out that he has the mental illness she struggled with for years. With a newly found keepsake of hers, a piece of broken spyglass, comes into Adrian's possession, he is thrust into the past and finds himself face to face with an older brother he never knew he had. Henry Monty Montague has been living quietly in London, and his sudden appearance sends Adrian on a quest to unravel secrets that are echoing through his family. The spyglass may be the only key to discovering the truth about how their mother died. In pursuit of answers about the relic, the brothers chart a course to locate their sister, Felicity. As they travel between the pirate courts of Rabat, the Portuguese islands, the canals of Amsterdam, and into unknown Arctic waters, the Montague siblings face one final adventure and a ghostly legend that threatens their whole family. Large. Okay, yeah, I love this a lot. Big size. It was really good. I think I kind of like binge read this in a couple days. And so yeah, I like Adrian. He's much different from Monty and Felicity. And you know, he's growing up not knowing he even has these older siblings. He thinks he's an only child. And you know, I think the reunion parts when he meets Monty and meets Felicity, like those scenes were just so good. I don't want to say anything about them, but yeah, very emotional. And you know, I think each of the siblings kind of has like different things that they have to like struggle with, that they're like, you know, working through. And in Adrian's case, he has like really bad anxiety. And, you know, kind of reading about that in that historical setting, as far as like how people dealt with things back then, it was really interesting and just really relatable. He's just like a really great character. I like him a lot. So, big feels. lots of adventure, lots of traveling. Like, I always like in these books how they're always going to different places and they're always so well described. And it just makes me want to like go places and do things. So yeah, I highly recommend. Really love this series. And I also really like the audiobooks as well. So if you want to do the audiobooks, I recommend the narrators. Really good. Okay. This one is another anticipated read. And I was going to look up the pronunciation before I came in here, and then I forgot. So I think it's Terciel and Elinor by Garth Nix. This is book 6 in the Old Kingdom series. So this is a kind of what I consider like a classic YA book series. It was one of the first ones I remember reading. So the books are, just in case you're curious, where's the list of books? Okay. Sabriel, Lyriel, Abhorsen, Clariel, and Golden Hand, and then there's some books with short stories. So these books are set in a fantasy world. So there is, let me show you a map. So there's like 2 different kingdoms. Down here is Ancelstier, and up here is the Old Kingdom. So the Old Kingdom has magic, Ancelstier does not. And there is definitely a big like divide between the two. There's a lot of stigma about the Northern Kingdom. Like no one really wants to have anything to do with it. And it's kind of like a mystery to people who live in the South. So in the Old Kingdom, like there is magic, what they call free magic and charter magic, and one thing that is very important in this series is the dead can be brought back by necromancers, and it is the role of the Abhorsen to put the dead back to sleep, to fight against, necromancers and dead creatures who are coming back, which is just really cool. They have like 7 bells they wear, and they have to like ring the bells to send the dead back. And of course, there's like different levels of dead creatures, essentially, like how powerful they are, and that determines like what bell you use. And it's just really interesting. I've always liked the world building and the magic in this. And so this is actually a prequel book. So the characters are, I think, Sabriel's parents. Yes, it's the story of how Sabriel's parents meet and how the charter magic that brings them together also takes them into deadly peril. So yeah, when you get into if you've already read, Sabriel, this is like the prequel story about her parents, and I'm like 50 pages in, and I'm really enjoying it. I love this world so much. It's very, I don't know, to me it's very unique, but yeah, it's really good. And then, if you don't know who this is, he goes by different names, but Mogget is one he uses in the later series. So yeah, if you're looking for just a really cool fantasy, get into this. I think you could probably read this without reading the other books, because they are kind of explaining what's happening as they go along. So yeah, those are our new books that I have read, and there's like a whole bunch more I want to read, so check out the list in the video notes to see if there's any that you want to read. But again, please come by, see us, check out some books while you're on break, and if you want to come talk to me about books, I always love to tell people about my favorite books, hear about your favorite books, see if we can find something new to read together. But yeah, I will talk to you next time on Wednesday when I have a craft program, so See you then. Bye.